Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Kyle Pankey. If you've turned on the news recently, you've likely seen that AI is coming for your job. Well, we're going to dig into that today. We're going to see what all the headlines are about. Is there true reason to fear job loss? And what's with all the uncertainty about what's real about AI and what's just hype? Today isn't about the technology. Instead, it's about what it means for you, your money, your career, and your long-term plan. So let's start with what the news does get right. Jobs will change. There's no doubt about that. Every new technology in history, jobs changed, roles changed. But let's take a look back at history and see how that happened. Whether it was all the way back in 1794 with the invention of the cotton gin, or the 1920s when we could mass produce automobiles and created the assembly line, or the late 1990s and early 2000s when we created the internet and computers, or all the way till now where we have artificial intelligence, one thing stands true is jobs change, your role may shrink, but productivity increases, and with every new technological advancement, new industries are created, new roles and jobs are created, and most jobs just end up evolving instead of disappearing. So, let's take the cotton gin, for example. With all of this mass produced cotton, we were able to farm more land, which gave us more jobs. We were able to create new industries because we had more cotton to create clothes and everything else that we can do with cotton. And then we have, we need people to deliver the new products. We need people to sell the new products. So think about all of the jobs that came from that. So every time in history is similar where a new technology comes along, people are scared it's going to change the way that their job is done, and rightfully so. But that gives you a chance to evolve as well within your role. But remember, fear sells headlines. The news is meant to sell headlines. Once they became 24 hours, news is no longer news, it's entertainment. So keep that in mind. And when we look at it, AI is much more likely to assist workers than replace them entirely. More productivity will increase our output as a country. So now mundane tasks that you might do at work, like writing emails or filling in paperwork, can somewhat be automated or assisted, and you can now get better output. So you'll have skill shifts, there'll be industry shifts and transition periods, but there won't be elimination of all of the jobs. It won't all go to AI. So keep that in mind when you hear these things on the news that, for better or worse, is just meant to sell headlines. And why does this matter financially? Well, keep in mind markets adapt much faster than headlines. Innovation creates new companies, builds new industries, and drives long-term growth. So that's the side of things we're on. If we go back to the 1920s and the 1930s with the invention of the television and all of the technology we've gotten since then, if we look at the S&P over that time, it continues to trend upward. Now, why does it trend upward? Because with every invention of something new, we're able to create something else new down the line. So the main message here is stay adaptable and stay diversified in your investments. Don't make fear-based decisions about headlines you see on the news. And that's what we're here to do for you. And that's our role, is to continue that long-term outlook and not be worried about the short-term fear of AI potentially taking jobs and changing how business is done. I'll leave you with this as a final thought. Every generation has a moment where change feels scary. But the people who stayed patient, kept investing, and adapted were the ones who benefited the most. I'd love to hear what you're hearing about AI and what scares you, and feel free to reach out and talk to me about it. I'd love to do that. Have a great day.